Hello, my friends, and welcome to another week of art. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay, this is week of March 24th through the 31st. So we are almost done with the month of March. We are going to be working on part 2 of a project we started last week. Second through third grade, you are working on the Converging Lines Opt Art, and fourth through fifth grade, you're working on an Opt Art drawing using a sphere. Okay, and we're going to review some of that. Okay, our I can statements. I can create an opt art drawing using converging lines, color, value, and form. That's for second through third grade. Also, fourth through fifth grade, I can create an opt art drawing using shape, color, value, and form. Okay, what will we do today? We're going to review the optical illusion, uh, opt art, form, and converging lines. Look at examples again of opt art. Demonstration of how to add color and value to our part 1 drawing. So now we're doing part 2 of that project. And that's for second through third grade, converging line, opt art drawing, and fourth through fifth grade, opt art drawing using a sphere. And then you will finish creating your art and hopefully you'll turn it in to me. Okay. Okay. Here we go with form. Form is a three-dimensional shape such as a cube, a pyramid, or sphere, and it's one of the elements of art. Now, an artist can create a form in art by creating pottery or sculpture or through drawing, which is what we're doing. Okay, so we're turning something that would be flat and trying to make it look like it's three-dimensional. We could walk around it if we wanted to. Okay, color and value. Okay, color would not exist if we were in complete darkness. Without the use of light, light bounces off and into our eye, and then we are seeing color. And what we see here is the color wheel. Our three primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. And then complementary colors, colors that are across from the primary colors like yellow and purple. And purple, we can only get that by mixing red and blue. So you can see our complementary colors are yellow and purple. They complement each other. They make each other stand out more. Orange and blue are complementary colors, and green and red are complementary colors. So when you put these groupings like yellow and purple together, or red and green together, or blue and orange together, they tend to pop more. We're more attracted to it because of them being complementary. They're across from each other on the color wheel. Now, value is how light or dark a color is. Um, on the on the right hand side, you have a value scale. If you add more white to a color, it's going to be lighter. Look how blue is here. Blue gets lighter as we add more white, and look how dark it gets by the time it's down at the bottom. Same thing with this purple color and the next color. And then over to the left, the further left hand side, you see how if you start with white and you add a tiny bit of black, it becomes gray. And the more black you add to white, the darker it will become. And I think that we worked on a value painting last year. if you remember correctly. Uh, and here we have a value scale for black and white. And I'm showing you that because some of you might not have colors at home. So this is a project that you can still do, but you might just have to use just your regular pencil going from light to dark. Okay. Okay. Optical illusion or OptArt. Optical illusion, remember, optical would mean your eye, and illusion is like a trick, okay? So it's like magic. So we're thinking a trick of the eye in a drawing or painting. OptArt can create a trick of the eye to show movement like ripples or form like a shape emerging through a blanket. And this can be done using pattern and changing the line slightly. And we saw examples of this on either side. You see the square that's been repeated and it gets larger, but they change the size of it and they tilt it slightly each pattern that goes outward. So it almost looks like this is being stacked, right? And the one to the right is very much like the converging lines drawing that the second through third graders are doing. We talked about M.C. Escher. He's one of the best known opt artists and how he loved math and created works of art based on his love of math. And here again are some examples. A lot of his work is in black and white, but he does have some work in color. But they also have value with them. They go from light to dark, depending on, like, notice in the center work of art, how it appears to be almost like the light is hitting it on this left-hand corner, and it appears to be brighter there. And then it gets darker, and you see a shadow around the right edge of it. So we got a light source from the left, and then it goes into darkness to the right. Okay, this is kind of a quick review, but basically I showed second and third grade this image here that you guys are creating, and we talked about how to draw it. And this week we're adding color, okay? So I'm going to show you this really quickly, how this artist did the work. Okay, they used markers. But you could also use colored pencil with this, and like I said before, black and white. So just watch how he is applying and creating the pattern, and he's using red and green, which is similar to what I did. But I used marker and I used colored pencil, a special colored pencil for it. So I will show you that too in just a moment. Okay, so he is using red and green. Starting, remember I called these pizza slices? He's starting in one area and he is filling portions of it in red. Okay, this is one way to do it. And then filling it in. So every other one he did with a red marker in this one pizza slice. Okay. And then the next one beside it is going to be green. But notice which one he's doing here. He's alternating which ones he's doing. So he's not doing green in the same band here. He's doing it almost like a checkerboard pattern because it's every other one, and then he alternates. See the pattern? And he continues to do the same thing all the way around. Let me pause that for a second. Okay, so he started with the red and white, red and white, red and white, and then he did the green and white, and he's going to do something with the colored pencils here. Now, if you were using just a regular pencil, you could shade these in darker, and then you could go in and do a lighter where the white is. Okay, so watch how he uses the colored pencil to create a different value. It will almost look like light is hitting the surface of these bands, or this these slices of pizza, as I call it. He's using a red and a green, and he's not going to be coloring in the entire bands of white, just doing it along the edges, the sides of it, because he wants to give it the look as if the light is hitting the surface of this band that's converging or going to the point in the center, almost like a bullseye. Okay, so he's not coloring it all in with the colored pencil, just parts of it. Same thing with the red, all the way around. You can kind of see it a little bit better there. Hopefully you can see it better than my example because of the way the light is. So that's that finished work. Okay, let me go down. Okay, one thing I do like about this artist, what he did before he started coloring in, he kind of marked off like a checkerboard, even within his circle. He made a little mark where one of his darker colors might be. And he did this in black and white. We're going to be doing it in color. You might use black as one of your colors and then do a lighter color in some of the other ones. But pay attention to where he is marking it. That will remind him where he's going to add the darkest color, like a checkerboard. Okay, so he goes all through, and this is kind of fast. Okay. Now he's laying it down so he doesn't get marker all over the place. And he used a black marker to go in, and notice how slowly he is going in. And since we've already hopefully outlined our drawing, this will help out. Okay, so he's now going in and filling in the areas. He started from the center. I kind of went from left to right, but it's totally up to you. As long as you know and you don't lose track of where you're supposed to color in. Okay. So here he's got black and white. I could go in where those white squares are with a different color, like a pink. That would be a nice contrast, or a yellow. And I could color in those squares. Okay. Now he's using a pencil. If you're doing this strictly in black and white, if you go around and we're trying to give it a sense of like a shadow, right? So you just need to decide where the light is hitting this sphere or this ball, and where you're going to shade it more on the edge of the circle more than the other side. And see how he's going into some of these white squares? Doesn't it look more 3D? Okay, I got one more I want to show you. This is just with the supplies I have. Okay. Let's see. Now this is my example, and you might not be able to see it quite as well as you did the other ones, but I used like kind of a greenish blue. It almost looks blue in here, but in person, I promise you, it looks more greenish in color. So those are my complementary colors, my green and red. So I also used marker, but like I said, you don't have to use marker with this. You could do like a green, a heavy green in here with a color pencil. Or think about like this, like if you were doing black and white, maybe this red is a gray and this green would be a black, like a little bit heavier with your pencil lead. And then I also, just like the other artists, I did like a pattern. You see how I went into one, I did the red. I started at the center and that's white. And then red, white, red, white. The one next to it is green, white, green, white, green. So I'm alternating. And then my pattern continues all the way around. You don't want to lose track of this, okay? Okay, so again, I started with this drawing, and then we went in to this. Now, you can't see mine that well, the colored pencil, but I also went in just like he did to each one of these white ones, and I am going to touch it up a little bit more. Where I have my red and white and red and white, I went in to just the sides and started adding almost like a little bit of shading so that it looks like the light is hitting it in the center. And you're going to do the same thing like maybe with a green and continue just like he did. Okay, you can see it a little bit better there. See my marks? And I'm going to continue going back into this with the colored pencil so it'll look a little bit more finished. But you'll be able to see like a light source is hitting it. So these ripples will have more of a 3D effect, hopefully. Okay, and that's for 2nd through 3rd grade. Now, all right. Now with our sphere, this is the one that I wanted to show you. We should have it to this point. If you don't, then we will get you to this point at the beginning of class. And you're just outlining again. If you don't have a black marker, just go over it with your pencil a little bit heavier. So you'll be able to see your drawing a little bit better and it'll stand out better. Okay, so you're going to do like a checkerboard. Figure out where you want to start. You could do it just like the other artist did. I used a purple and yellow. My purple is really light. It's easier to color or to shade from light to dark because if you make a mistake, like I actually did, if you haven't caught it, right here in this right-hand corner when I was laying it out, I accidentally put the wrong color down. So I started going back over and I was like, oops, this is going to be my side with my shadow then because I'm going to have to go back over that. So, lesson learned. Okay, so this is like a checkerboard design. And if you look at mine, I got purple, yellow, all the way down. And then when I get to where the circle, the sphere is, notice how I chose to continue my pattern. Like the purple, since it's so close to this particular square that's on the circle, that's also going to be purple. Here, this purple, I had most of the purple already colored in, so my next one was yellow. So you kind of have to judge how much of the square has already been colored before you put in the next color in the grid, the checkerboard design. But you can see how I started going in and making it slightly darker. Now, what you can do is go in with another color, Like I started 2 on the right. Instead of using yellow for my shadows, I use like an orange or a brown in the yellow to kind of make it a little bit darker and blending. I'm trying to see, I think I got this so that you could see it a little bit better. There, I'm going in and I'm adding a little shadow into my yellow with the orange. But like I said, you could use like a darker color that's like a brown. Oop, and I broke my pencil. That's okay. Just to make it a slightly darker and blend a little bit better than I started doing there. And you can see how I added some along the edge, not the entire square that's on there, but it's slightly darker, okay? That will give a sense that it's starting to turn. It's becoming a sphere instead of a flat circle. I hope this makes sense. All right, so you will complete your drawing of the second through third grade converging line opt art or fourth grade, fourth through fifth grade opt art with the spear. And remember, this is a 2-part project, so you've got to complete the pencil drawing first before you can go to part 2, which is adding the color and or the value using pencil to your drawing. Online learners, you must take a picture and post to Google Classroom or Class Dojo or email it to me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call me, okay? All right. So you're going to be creating a work of art using your art supplies at home. Okay, I hope that that made it a little bit easier to understand how we're using color and value in this drawing. I can't wait to see these finished because from what I've seen from a lot of you that have turned in work, um, you're drawing, you're right on the mark. I'm also going to be including again that handout that has the steps, even though it's in black and white and the measurements are a little bit different. It does give you an idea of how to start coloring in your grid or your checkerboard on the spear drawing. And also, it might be helpful to see how the pattern is formed for your converging lines drawing for the second through third grade. Okay, so I've given you lots and lots of information. I can't wait to see your artwork, and I hope you have a great week. Okay, bye for now.